Parents live stream.
Can you hear my son?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. It's live stream. Okay. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us from. My name is Brenda Unu, and we're live from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Like I was going to say Lagos, Nigeria, and I remember that my guest is not in Lagos.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you can hear us and you can see us, let us see your say hi to us and tell us where you're joining from. With me, the amazing, delectable, the brilliant Orifie Uyo, my own Twinny. I will tell you
Yeah.
about that in a bit. Why we call ourselves Twinny. I'm so excited to have you, Orifie. Thank you so much. So if you're ready,
Absolutely.
let's get right in. Okay, so we'll start by introducing yourself. We always like our guests to introduce themselves. We say it's,
Hey.
just toot your horn. This is Women's Month. This is time to be proud, just be proud. Give it to us as you like it. You can
Thank
take
you.
it.
Accept my pride with with joy. Right. So good, whatever time of day it is, for you wherever you are. My name is Orifie Uyo. I'm a lot of things, but the biggest thing that I am, or the biggest person or persona that I am, is I'm an empowerment coach for women. I'm so passionate about women living their best lives. And I I live and breathe it, really. It's this, I think it's the biggest thing that I do. Apart from that, so my background is in law. I'm a lawyer. I'm an educationist. So I went back to school to get a degree in adolescent Montessori education. So I run an adolescent Montessori school in Abuja, Nigeria, which is the very first in Nigeria. So proud of that. So I
Wow.
think the second most important work that I do is the work I do with young people. I'm in fact, I don't know which I'm more passionate about, because I honestly believe education is the hope we have. Education
Hmm.
is what pulls people out of where they are and helps them get to where they're supposed to be. And
Right.
interestingly, just for this International Women's Day, I had a conversation with the kids in my school, because I thought, with all the goings on, around the world and even in Nigeria, I thought it was important to have a conversation with the boys in particular. And some of the things I heard, worried me. So I thought, I realized that it's very important, right?
Hmm.
Raising the kids to have an open mindset, a learning mindset, a purpose-driven mindset is so important. So yes, so that's the
Right.
work that I'm doing in that space. And lastly, I call myself a potentialist. Yeah, so my
Hmm.
job is to help you identify and fulfill your potential, because seriously, who darling help, right? Sorry for the
Right.
non-Nigerians. Why the heck will you not be the absolute best you can be? And we'll talk a bit about that
Absolutely.
today. That's really why I'm here. Yeah. So yeah, so that's who I am in
Absolutely.
a nutshell. Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. And nice to meet you and your awesome personas. I mean, I was just like, come on now. Only you lawyer, only you educationist, only you.
Mm.
And you didn't remember tell us that you're a madam in oil and gas. So you didn't tell us that part. Forgot that side.
Yeah, that's my day job. I'm not getting airtime for that. So they're not
But
talking
yes,
about
so
that much.
I know, but amazing, amazing,
So in my
amazing to meet you.
personal personas,
Thank
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so
My
much for
pleasure.
blessing us with your time, your energy, and your
My
wisdom.
pleasure.
Because we're
My
we're ready
pleasure.
with my pen and my notepad. Like, let's take it down. So today's topic, first of all, I always like to ask people that why did you gravitate towards this topic? You know how I usually
Mm.
throw topics out and then people pick the one that they're drawn to. I'd like to know why were you drawn to this
Hmm.
topic? Why was it the one that you chose?
I was going to start with that. I said, this is personal for me. I take it personally. So I said, my name is Orifie, right? The meaning of my name, Orifie, means
Mm,
this is your time. That's the meaning of my name,
mm,
like literally, right?
literally.
And I've come to understand that your time is your life. So it's talking
Mm,
about this period that you are here. What are you doing with it? Why are you here
mm,
at this particular time in history? And how can you ensure that before we all go back to our maker, we do what it is that he created us to do? So it aligns
sure.
perfectly with what I do in working with professional women, in what I do with the young people, in what I do in my potentialist work. Use your
Mm.
time. Your time is literally all you have,
Your life.
right?
Mm,
That's why I gravitate. I was
true.
like, I take this personally. I don't know why they gave me that name. I was told I was named by my grandfather. I never had the chance to
I
ask him
love
why, right? But
I love it.
yeah. So
This
it's
is your time.
this
And
is
you know,
your time.
the Bible has something like where it says, now is the day of salvation. Now is the appointed time. Do you see? So that
Absolutely.
is you
Yeah.
right
You
there.
were made for a
Now, this
time
is your time.
such as this. And interestingly, that
I
this is
love
your
it.
time. It's not talking about me. The your is an outward
Mm.
facing you. So I'm here to tell you that this is your time.
This is
So it's
your
not even about me
time.
per se.
Yes,
This is your
I love
time.
it.
What are you doing with it? So that's why this was like a no-brainer for me. I'm like, this is personal to me, right? It's what I
I
do,
know.
without anyone asking me. So yeah, that's why I came to this one.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much. And I always I also felt drawn to this particular topic, and I was thinking, look, nobody picks it. I'll just go live, talk about it myself because hello, life and time and everything, time
Yeah,
management is just really the one skill that woman has to master because we
yeah,
think that we're drawn in all directions, there's
absolutely.
mommyhood calling you food, day job, passion, purpose, everything drawing on different ends, you literally
Yeah,
have to become a master at,
absolutely.
sharing your time. So that you don't just wake up one day, you're 65 and you wonder, oh, what have I
Where
done with
did
all
my
my
life
life?
go?
You
Where
know,
did my
and
life
then you
go?
start to blame your children after all I did for you. You don't have
And be
my time,
resentful.
So we don't want that. So we want to
Yeah,
speak to you today, dear woman, to
yeah,
tell you how to reclaim time back. So,
right.
Orifie, where are we going to start the conversation from? You are in the driver's seat today. I'm just listening, taking notes, and
Perfect. Perfect.
Great.
So here's the thing, right? So I know that what you're expecting is like you know, a time management type of focus. So we'll get there,
Mm,
right? But I want to talk about
mm,
this in three ways. One is even just talking
yes,
about the concept and the purpose of time in itself. Number two thing is
right.
then your purpose as an individual. And then on number three thing, we'll talk about the practical tips, the time management aspect. And I'm going to put up my notebook because I've written this down. Everything is here. Ensure that I
I
say
love it.
exactly what I mean to say. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not one of those that does off the cuff. That's not my character.
I mean, know thyself.
I
Know
prepare and I want
thyself.
to make sure that I've said exactly what I meant to say. Right. Okay,
Right.
so I want to start, if it's okay with you, starting basically on the purpose and the concept of time. Right. So each one of
Okay.
us, and stop me if I'm getting too long-winded. I want to be able to take questions at the end of it. So maybe about 10, 15 minutes on each aspect, and then hopefully we'll get to some questions at the end of it. Yeah. So I'll leave it to you to guide me.
You to guide me. No problem.
All right.
All
So
right.
I'll start with the saying, and I think it's almost a cliche that every human being has the same 24 hours. So we all have
Mm,
the same 24 hours in a day. And I think that's the leveler that God has given each one of us. Some people are doing amazing with that time. And I think it's maybe like 1% or 10% at most. And the others are just kind
mhm.
of going with it, are just,
Like,
fumbling around it,
dear
as it
Jesus,
were.
help us.
Right. Help us, Lord. Right. So it's about, the topic was redeeming the time. And redeeming the time to me, my understanding of it is making the most of the time. Making the most
Mm,
of the time. How do we ensure that this 24 hours that all of us have in the whole world, right? And regardless of where you are, whether you're in the global north or the global south, whether you are east, whatever religion,
mm,
each one of us has the same 24 hours. So that's one thing.
right.
Number two thing is the time that you have currently. We all have a birth date, and we're all going to have an end by date, which is your date of death, right?
True.
We know what the first one is. We don't know what the second one is. We have no idea what the
Mm,
second one. So all we have is a gap in between, which is today. Like the Bible says, tomorrow is
mm,
promised to no man, which is today. what do we do with today to ensure that we're making the most of it? Again, that's the second aspect of it, right?
Right.
The third aspect of that is understanding that each time has its seasons. And I'll explain that. As we're going through our life, we have ages, we have periods, we have seasons. So all of us we were babies once. We probably don't have too much recollection of that, but we were babies at some point in time because we didn't fall
But
from the sky. Usually I have to tell my children, I didn't fall from the sky like this. I was a child like you.
I was a baby once.
Whatever
Don't
age
think
you are
it's
now,
only you that yeah.
you are now. I was that age at that point in time. So don't come and tell me as if you are the first person that's ever been 11 years old. Excuse me. I was 11 at some point in time. I was 14 at some point in time. Right. So we all have ages, we all have periods. That's one. And everybody again. There's always something happening at every age and stage of your life. As a child, you might not know that you might not know what's happening. All you only is to go to school, but there's always something happening at every age and stage. Okay. Secondly, we have seasons. So in Nigeria, we just have rainy season and dry season. Now, we won't bother about, in other parts of the world, obviously there are different seasons, but our own is rainy season and dry season. And what happens in the rainy season is different from what happens in the dry season. They're not the same, right? Now, why I say that is to understand that we have, in our individual lives, we also have seasons. We have ebb and flow. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, right? So what happens during those times, particularly when you're down, when you think things are not working, is that we start to fight it, we start to resist it, we start to push against it. But these are the rhythms of life. And all of those things happen for a reason. All of those things, none of them is random, even just understanding that, right?
Right.
My father, God bless his soul, he just passed away recently, God bless his soul. We would always say something. He would always say, when we were younger, when we were in school, he would say, pass through the school and let the school pass through you. At the time, we were all in school. So what he was saying was every experience, has a reason, has a purpose. There's a reason why you are going through this. Don't just, close your eyes and be walking blind and just not allow yourself to immerse in what the experience is. There's something that it has for you, And honestly, thankfully, we is he abided. We went with that and we lived our life in accordance with that. Recently, I was at a work function and there was this icebreaker question and they asked, what period of your life would you go back to if you had the chance and why? Who were saying things like, I want to be a child, adulthood is a scam. I looked at it and I was like, there's no part I want to go back to. Why? Because
I don't
according
want
to
to
my
wash
father,
plates. Excuse me.
I squeezed out every part of every season. Is it primary school? We finished it. Squeezed. My dad was like, every experience, they're going to excursion in Takwa Bay. Go. We're going for, choir competition in Lagos. We were living in Ibadan. Everything that was happening, we were there. Because he was like, you only get this period once. Use it. There's something for you in this space. So we squeezed it. Primary school squeeze, secondary squeeze, even law school as tough as it was, we squeezed the life out of it. So
I
when people say
enjoyed
now,
every part. Even my NYC, I'm remembering my NYC with joy.
Oh no. So when people say, I didn't enjoy secondary school, I was like, wow.
Where were you?
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry you had that experience, right? But for us, and I'm glad we had that advice from our dad, squeeze it out, right? Because that part of it, you can never have it back. And more importantly, that part of it is a prelude to the time you're in now. There's something in that space that was preparing you for where you are now. So that leads me to the third, time of, understanding or categorization of time, which is past, present, and future. Right. So all the past that has gone through, it was just to prepare you for today. Yeah. It was just to prepare you for today. And whatever you are in now is preparing you for the tomorrow. And we'll talk about that when we talk about purpose. Right. Everything that happens, there's no situation that is random, good, bad, or ugly. Everything has happened because it's supposed to happen. And there's a saying that I've taken as my own. Whatever happens is exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Whether I like it or not, that's how it's supposed to happen. There's something in this thing for me.
And it's happening for my good.
It's happening for my good. I might hate it. I might be, I might cringe all the way through it. But there's something here for me. Look out for it. There's something there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think last thing I would say on this part before I move on to move on to the next part of it is talking about
Yes.
um again the present now. So I've talked about ebbs
Mm,
and flows. I've talked about going with the rhythms of life. I would also talk about not trying to force things, particularly when you're in a situation where you don't love, not trying to force things. Um,
mm.
and understanding that there's something in that situation for you. And I'll share a quick story. And I think I even shared it on one of the groups that God is so faithful that whatever you need to learn, whatever is required for your future, you are going to learn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to
Absolutely.
learn it. If it means you are going to go around that mountain for 40 years, you'll be going around because
You will.
he's too good a father to allow you to
Mm,
proceed into the land and then go and just fumble and die. And I'll give you an
mm.
example, something that happened to me in my professional life, because I know that to a large extent I speak to professionals, people in the Christians in the workplace, right? So I was, a couple of years back where I lived in a different city, right? And I had this boss that I would just say was not nice. Let's just leave it at that. It wasn't great, right? It wasn't a great experience working with them. I didn't enjoy it at all,
Yeah,
right? But up until that time, I'd had fantastic bosses that are taking me like a daughter, like a baby, or like a little
I
sister.
know.
Yeah, I'd had
Mm,
that up until that guy. So I was so annoyed. I'm like, who is this guy? Why do you think that I'm not even going to answer you? You know, and I was very brash and very, I'd even say
I'm thinking
unprofessional about this.
you were right.
You know,
Mm.
I was thinking I was giving him, please, I'm not taking that nonsense from you, whatever. I was very Jay-Z. Please don't come for me, please. Right. So I was quite rude, to be honest. So he would say something and exchanging words. How old was I? So I want to believe is youthful exuberance or just youthful ignorance, maybe is
Abby?
a word to use. Yeah, I think that's just the word. So but I thought I was winning. I thought I was
Mm.
please, all this nonsense, me, I won't take it too. And truthfully, truthfully, out of that situation, I got a transfer. He literally kicked me out of the department. Right. But he kicked me out into what I wanted. So I was very happy. I thought
Okay.
I'd won. I was like, yeah, look at this guy. He thought he was punishing me. I've gotten exactly what
Mm.
I wanted. So I honestly thought I'd won. Fast forward a
Yeah.
few years, maybe like 3, 4 years after that, I got another boss that was not reminiscent of this guy. And I thought, why is this happening again? What's all this? And I started the
Mm.
same way. I give as good as I get. I'm not taking that nonsense. And perhaps a little wisdom had entered, I
Mm.
want to say. Or the Holy Spirit just, gave me a little flick on the head that why is this thing happening again? Think about it.
Mm.
So I had a meeting with myself. I called myself to a meeting and I'm like, you don't want to do this with this guy again. You didn't particularly enjoy the other one. So what are you going to do differently in this
Mm.
space? It's not a good
Differently.
idea to
Mm.
be the person that's exchanging words to your manager that does it. It's not a good idea, right? Forget
I don't know
about whether it's fantastic or not.
who has it ever helped? I don't know.
It's not a good idea, right? So how are you going to learn to manage your manager? Like this is me talking to myself. It's not like nobody even, talk to me. And anyway,
Mm.
long story short, I had a meeting with myself. I advised myself, right? And I
Mm.
figured out a way to work with this person. I figured out a way. I had
Okay.
to adapt myself. I had to eat humble pie. But I decided, okay, I'm going to do this for
Mm-hmm.
my peace of mind. And because I just don't think it's a good
Mm.
idea. So this guy we
Right.
became like this. So the friendship we
Mm.
became so close. Like he was like my sponsor. Even when he left the company, he would speak up for me. I'd meet people on the road and they would say, oh, are you this person? Oh, so and
Mm.
so. So he became my super sponsor. Even when he was retiring, he still mentioned me. That I said, wow. I said, look at that. So look at this relationship
Mm.
that I would have just played with and just,
Thrown away
done
if you
anyhow
were
with.
being big-headed and,
Yeah,
proud.
big-headed and ignorant, really. Right. So what
Mm.
I learned from that, apart from what you just said, was that this is a lesson that God needed me to learn. Understand that when you're working with somebody, it's
Mm.
your job to manage the person, right? And if
True.
I hadn't learned it at that point in time, I honestly believe that maybe 2 buses down the road, I would have met somebody like that again. That lesson
You
was
still have
learned and I
met those
understood
type.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have met it again because God said, see, your head is too big and strong. Bring it down and understand that at
Mm.
this time, this is what you need. You're not going to get very far with this kind of attitude, right? And the
Mm.
exposure, the opportunities, the experience that you need to have are in the hands of these people. You need to learn to
Mm.
manage them. I learned it. And
True.
to the glory of God, I have not had any issue since then. Or perhaps I've just learned it so that whoever comes, I know how to work with you.
You
So
know how to work,
again,
yes, and nobody now looks too difficult.
nobody looks to the whoever you are. I will first of all assess you and figure out how do I work with this person. That's all. That's all that is
Mm,
required. Right. So I say all of that to say every situation that comes to you. And really, I was talking to a young lady who was struggling so terribly at work, struggling terribly. And I told her, look, when we're going through difficulties, what we want more than anything is to get out. I want this to end. I want this to stop
mm,
immediately. But perhaps this
mm,
time, the purpose of this time is for you to learn as
mm,
opposed to being comfortable, right? So
mm.
sometimes we're in our time and we're fighting against it, we're resisting it, we're pushing it. How about we relax into it and ask, if you're a Christian, Lord, what is this about?
What's the
What do you want
lesson?
me to learn here?
What's
What
the
am I
lesson
supposed
for
to
me
do
here?
with this? Yeah. Can you give me the grace to go through this as your child? Don't let me disgrace you in the outside. So that they'll not be saying, is this
Because
one not a Christian?
child of God, where's your excellence, child of God?
So, so that leads me to that's the first part of it I wanted to talk about, which is um the
Seasons.
concept of time. What's the purpose of time? That's what that first part was
Mm,
about. So the second part is now about what is your purpose in relation to time, right?
mm,
And so I take that from the verse in Esther that says, perhaps you were made for a time such as this. And that one was, the way Mordecai said it, I thought it was like a threat. He said, Auntie,
I
if
know,
you don't,
like
if
it
you
was
don't
a threat.
turn
Oh.
up, anything you see, collect it like that.
You'll be replaced like this.
I think, but the way I interpret it is that whatever time and season you are is because you're supposed to be here. So if you are born and you are
Mm,
alive now, you are an adult now, it's because what God put in
mm.
each one of us or what God put in you is for now. It's not for the
It's
time of
useful for
Esther.
this period.
Yeah. It's not
Mm,
for the medieval
mm,
period. It's not for 2050,
mm.
whatever. It's for now.
I hear you. I hear you so
Yeah.
loud. And this reminds me of something that a friend of mine used to say. You know, the other day we were in my child's school and there was something going on. So some parents were getting angry that they're going to take the children out, all of
Mm-hmm.
this, what rubbish. And I said to them, I said, you know what? I personally am a child of God and I do not walk with God's grace doesn't cover me. For me to be here, there is something I
Mm-hmm.
can do to
Mm-hmm.
help this situation. I was here for a time as this, and all I can see is, Lord, what would you have me do to make this place better? Because you cannot, you can't just lead me astray. Do you understand? I didn't
Absolutely.
just get up and go to the school by myself. I spoke to God. He told me to go. So if I'm here and all this rubbish is happening, then there must be something in me that can solve this rubbish. And so
Exactly.
when I spoke to the women, they were like, oh, okay, okay. So I said, now we're going to start thinking, how can we help?
We help.
We came
Absolutely.
together and we helped the situation, and everybody's better for it now. You know, those who vex and said, I have no time for this, and they've left. Okay, all well and good. Maybe they were meant to leave. Do you see? I mean, I don't
Maybe.
begrudge anybody their way to respond to things. But
Yeah.
I personally, as a child of God, I always ask myself, Look, what would you have me do here? You know, what would you
Absolutely.
have me do here? Why am I here now? What would you have
That's
me
it.
do? I think that's really a brilliant way of saying this. And I mean, even our children now, there's when people are saying,
They
oh, our parents never had to deal with social media. Hello, hello.
were born
You
for a
and your
time
children were
such as
equipped
this.
for this.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
They
already
shall talk,
equipped for this.
they shall be taught
Don't
of the
sweat it.
Lord, and great is their peace. Forget about the future.
Absolutely,
They are prepared for it.
absolutely,
They came with the
absolutely.
with the buttons and the keys for the period
Encoding
that they are in.
with the
Yeah.
encoding.
So
Like, do you see? It
it's
is
because
follow
it's not
come.
for us. That's why we are saying, oh wow, wow. The one that is
Looking
they
straight.
are unperturbed because they are born for a time such
Absolutely,
as this. You understand what I mean? So
absolutely.
my belief, again, as a potentialist, the work that I do, is that every single one of us, every single person was born with a purpose. So we didn't just come here
Mm.
to come and be reducing oxygen quota
Counting
for
numbers,
the
adding
rest
to
of
the
the world.
numbers.
You understand? To be population,
Mm, mm,
to the number, there's a reason that you're here, and the reason that only you can do. Now, there might be different people doing similar
mm,
things, but the exact way you're going to do it, because of your experiences, because of your innate personality and all of that, nobody can do it like you,
mm.
right? So our
True.
job, like they'll say mission impossible, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to figure out what your purpose is, right?
And
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 implement
and
it
and slay the heck out of it.
and go for it. And none of them is easy because you can know your purpose and you are
Mm,
struggling, you are too afraid to step out. So this twofold:
mm,
know the purpose and step into it. right? The challenge is that if we don't
Mm.
do that, then we're wasting, instead of redeeming the time, which is optimizing it, we're wasting it.
Mm.
So your assignment
Mm.
is time sensitive, is based on the time that you're in now, because tomorrow is promised to no man. So find that assignment. And what I tell people is that what's the smallest thing that you can do? The smallest step that you can take. Can you take that one? Then look for the next smallest step and take it. That's all. Just those little baby steps, little by little,
Just
you're moving forward.
little. You
Yeah.
don't need to see the whole staircase. Take the next step. Take the
In
next
me,
step.
that's my problem. That's my problem in life. That whole staircase.
Like
Because
you,
truthfully, before I do
you need
something,
to
I want
see
to
it.
do an A to Z before I start. I'm like that. So that's my,
Mm.
that's why I'm like, Lord, if you don't help me, no, I will not move. Right. So I tell people, okay, forget about the big picture.
And I,
What's the small step? You can see the fullness of that
mm,
small step. Yeah, move.
mm.
Yeah. So I understand it because I also struggle with it.
And funny
Yeah.
enough, the way you said it, it's just making me, really just notice something. Of my children, I'm personally the one person that doesn't need to see the staircase. If I see a step, I'm going for it. You see? And that's how me I am. I just wake up and
Wow.
go for it. Okay, this is the next step. Let's go. I don't need to see the staircase. I don't need to. I just trust that the staircase is in God's hands. I can't kukuma see all. Let me just be going. But I have a
Okay.
child who must see the staircase,
Okay.
must see the next floor that the staircase is going
Yeah.
to, must see how we go after that. And I'm thinking, hello, how about
Mostly
you
when the
just move?
staircase is leading to, is it upstairs or downstairs?
That's
Is it, is it,
You understand? And even on
is
that
it
floor, what
second
will she
floor
do
or
after
fifth
she
floor?
enters that floor? And
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, Auntie, how
That's
about we
me.
just move?
That's me.
You see, I'm your mother. I've said move. Trust me and just be going. She's like, no, we need to see where is this step
I
going?
need to
From
know.
this step, where
Yeah.
is the next step? And I'm thinking, how are you like this? So as you're telling me now, I can realize that okay, she's normal. So I'm gonna breathe. And realize
Yeah.
that
So
okay,
tell
some people
her
are made that way.
that's what you teach. What's the smallest step you can take? Because it's actually, to some extent, it's a
Mm,
faith thing. Because we're created to plan. That's a planning personality. I'm created to plan. So I plan all the way to the end. And if I can't see the end, I'm frozen. I'm into immobility.
mm,
I can't move. Right. So what I've learned
mm,
to do is, what's the smallest thing that I can do? Right. Look at that step.
mm.
I can see the whole of that.
Small lesson that I
Oh, yeah,
can see
good.
the end of. Yes,
Yes.
like you can see the end of.
I don't know where
I
it's going
love
to
that.
lead, but I can see
I
the
will
end
do
of this
that.
one. Just go. Yeah. So that's what I
Mm,
try. What
mm,
smallest thing that
mm.
I can do that I'm okay to do, and just move. That's
Okay,
that's how I manage that. Yeah. So,
that's
like
a
I
good
said,
one.
find that one. Find your purpose. Right. People say, "Oh, purpose finds
Mm.
you. Purpose as you go, you find your purpose." I agree with all. I don't disagree with any.
You shall,
Right. But
shall find it. Whether
again,
it's on the way, in the now, find it.
because of my personality, I'm not the as you are going, you will find it type. Like I've just said. Yeah, I need to know. Right. So honestly, so that's why I figured out my coaching the way I did, because I needed to know. So I had to find a program that helps you
Mm,
know. And that's what I do when I'm coaching women. I need to know. Right. So figure it out, whatever way it works for
mm,
you. If you are the let's go with the flow type, more power to you. If you need to
mm,
know, figure it out. And like I will always say to
mm.
people, don't fight yourself, work with yourself.
Be true
Work
to
with
yourself.
yourself. Don't look at somebody else's thing and say, this is how this person is doing it. Oh, I should do it that way. There's no should in the matter. Find
Because
yourself,
Coach Brenda
figure
goes with
yourself
the
out.
flow, I will go with the flow.
Yeah.
You will crash.
I'm not a girl with the flow. Somebody, yeah, I can't do. I don't know where the flow is going. So it's going with you. Right. So that's the second part, the purpose part, because your gift, your assignment is for your generation. Yeah.
Mm,
So if once the time passes, it's no longer of any use. It's not of any
mm,
use. Right. So you optimizing your time, you redeeming your time is fulfilling your purpose for the generation that you are in, for the time period that you
mm,
are in. Delivering it. God sent you with a message to deliver it. Deliver it. So the problem, again, because I work with women, mostly with women, the problem is that we've been hoodwinked or sold the lemon
mm,
to believe that your purpose is linked only to children. I have my daughter here. So she used to go. So she's sitting here with me, right? So we've been raised to believe that your purpose is in childbearing and raising of
mm,
children and nothing else, right? So while childbearing is an awesome, very, very, very important purpose, because there's no other way to, secure the species, right? Apart from that, we as individuals have our own purpose. It's not just the men that have purposes, the women, each of us have a purpose. And I honestly believe that when we get to heaven, that's the first thing that God will ask us. The work that I sent you, with all the gifts, with all the talents, with all the experiences, what did you do with it?
All the talents.
Because I sent you to this person, this person, these people, this generation. I sent you to all of these people. And you use it to be, let me not say. Right? You put this in your pocket. Let me put it that way. Let me be politically correct. Right? You put it in your bag, you tied it, and you kept it. No. Right?
It's not okay.
And again, I would say this because generation by generation is different. The example that comes to me is the mother of the Wesley brothers, right? At the time that they were alive, women didn't really work. They couldn't really do a lot of things. So perhaps her purpose in the world was raising those men, those great men of God. John and Charles, that set up Methodist Church and all of that. Yes. But in this time and in this season, where women are in the workplace, right? Where I honestly believe that God has purposed, created this season for women to stand up and stand out, to grow the next generation. In fact, I think I heard someone say it once. Who was it? Who said so? Can't remember who it was. That the women are coming up because it's the women that prepare the bride. And who is the bride? The bride is the church. Right? When there's a wedding ceremony going to happen, which is the last supper, which is the end of the world, it's the women that prepare the bride. So in these last days, the women are going to rise because they are the ones that are preparing the next generation, the church, for the coming of our Lord. That's somebody's position.
I love it.
I honestly see that women are rising, and I see a move where women are getting stronger and are fulfilling purpose in every area, every pillar of society. Right. So which one is yours in this season? Can you redeem your time?
In this matter.
Yeah. Can you redeem your time and fulfill your purpose? So that's the second part of it. Because you're not here to count flyover. You're not here to
you're not adding to the numbers.
You're not here to take oxygen. You understand? You're not here to help us be
when they're counting people in the Bible
to greenhouse gases. We need you for
when they're counting the Bible. They will say 10,000 men, not counting the women and children. So you're not able to be counting like that. How about you get up and be useful? You're not here for numbers.
We need to know your name. we need to see your impact. We need to see your influence. Yeah. So for women in particular, I think it's a very strong message. Okay. So let me now move to the third part of it, and link the two of them together. How do you fulfill this purpose while you're being a wife, a mother, a worker, a this, a do, a do?
Okay. That's the real question. That is the very, very question of the day.
Sorry, don't worry, we are speaking pidgin English. They say that the matter tie double wrapper.
Yes.
How is it gonna work?
How? Many women are pressured, today. We're going through a lot. I mean, I just came in from work. As I got into the house, my daughter was like, "Oh, mommy, we need to do some cooking." I rushed into the kitchen and I was looking at my time the whole time. I said, "Oops, I have 7:30 live. I must get out of here soon." And she was like, "Okay, just show me what to do." And I quickly showed her what to do. And I ran upstairs, like heaving, like, "Okay, sat down on my laptop." So I'm coming from work. I've gone to do family. Now I'm coming to do purpose. Hello, how are we going to do it? How? Help us. Wow. What should we do?
Sister, so that's you're about saying that the matter with the underso. So I don't think that anyone has it easy anywhere in the world, right? So what needs to happen is that you need to create the system that works for you. And I'll tell you a bit of a story. So when I was first married, so I wasn't living in the same city as my husband. Work took me to another city with my sons. At the time, in fact, I had one son, then I had the second one there while he was living in another city. So it was there I learned that the bigger problem in my life was, what are we eating for dinner? I said, what kind of problem is this in this life? What did we eat yesterday? What are children going to take to school tomorrow? I'm like, why is this? I was like, this is not a good use of my brain cells. What was this? I'm driving home from, okay, what did we eat yesterday? What's for dinner? I'm like, no, come on. This doesn't work. And I think it was Buddha, interestingly, that said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I believe that my heart was crying out to the world, right? Or crying out to the Holy Spirit. And he sent me something. There's a book I bought. So this day, I don't know who the title of the book, I don't know who wrote it. And I'm like, but I read that book, and that book taught me about creating home systems. It taught me about you create your system. You are the manager of your house. That's who you are, madam. Right? Can you create a system for your house and make it move like a machine? And I'm like, okay, I can buy into that. So the very first thing I did was create a menu. How about
Like
that?
a meal timetable. How about we just set that out of the way and stop thinking, overthinking, and recreating was not lost.
Honestly, when I see people today say, "Oh, my biggest problem is what to eat," I say,
Are
well,
you still there?
if you ask me, I
We're
will
not
tell you.
there.
But if you don't, I'm not there.
We're
I've
not
been
there in
using
our
the
own
same
house.
menu for these like 16 years now, if not more. Right. So I create the menu and create the market list that goes along with it. In fact,
Like,
back in the day,
let's
I
just
had the same market lists, but the meals were different. So if it was yam and egg on the first week, the next week it would be yam porridge, but the same ingredients for the market list. After a while, I say, see,
absolutely.
forget about week 2. We just stick to week 1 and roll it over every week.
I know
Same,
the
I'm
funniest
using
thing.
the same menu.
My in my house, I have a child that, the day you try to tweak the timetable, he will literally be screaming, like, Mommy, no, today
I
is
have one like that.
Akarapa. How can you give us bread? I'm like,
I
I
have
was
one
trying
like
to
that.
make things exciting.
Well, today's rice
No,
and
don't
stew. Why,
change.
why, why did you make jollof rice?
Why do you make jollof rice? Do you
Today's
understand?
rice and
Like
stew.
he'll be so livid. I'm like, hello.
I have a child like that. You can't understand it. What's the meaning of this change?
Don't change it.
Why are you capricious? Yeah, but to me,
But meanwhile,
so
I
I
have
just
one child who said to me, Mommy, this timetable is boring.
it's
Can we switch
boring.
things up a little? I said, okay, you suggest. So I said, okay, suggest. You're the one who wants to switch it up. I'm fine. And the rest of us seem to be fine. So she came up with a few things. Well, please put it
Yeah.
back in a table because I will not be thinking about it every day. Do you see? We can switch things up, but we must end up
Keep
at a
it.
table, a
So
timetable that we can work with.
so my message to my kids was this is not a restaurant, particularly when they're younger, right? This is not a restaurant, okay? This is what we're eating. If you want something different, right, and the ingredients are in the house, by all means,
Please help
help yourself. I have no issue with that. What that gave me was this a framework within which we work. If we want to go outside of it, we can choose to do that, right? But at every point in time, this ingredient list is in the house. So every person that I have, every help that I have, we just hand over the book to the person. Whoever is going to market, this is the book that we use in our house. This is how we do it here.
Just
So
keep it
I'm
going.
not, I don't even have to, yeah. I can't remember when last I don't write market lists. I can't remember when last I did that. We hand it over to whoever is in the kitchen. Take. It's your job to continue it. All I need to see is how much. Check it. That's all.
That's it.
That's so for me. That's what works for me. Again, I will reiterate: work with yourself. What works for you? Some people love to be in the kitchen. Yeah,
I love to go to markets.
that gene skips me. It skips me. My DNA doesn't have it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in that WhatsApp group. Yeah. So work with yourself. And indeed, even that because of where we are raised, oh, you're supposed to cook. I used to force myself to do it in the early days. But I realized that, I would even tell my girl, okay, prepare the thing. Let me just come and cook. When they say, oh, auntie, the thing is ready, I'll just start grumbling too. Oh. Then I'm not yelling at people. My friend, will you leave this place? Why is this like this? So I observed myself. I'm like, why are you angry? You're always angry when they say you should come and cook. So
I
I
was
realized that
obsessed. Why?
I don't like this. I actually don't like it. Right. And of course, when you cook with that kind of energy, the food cannot even be sweet. So even there's no way everything is just wrong. So I had to give myself the permission. And I read it was actually Proverbs 31, interestingly. I read it one year and I saw that she instructs her maids. I say, yes.
As
Auntie, I've
in
made
liberating something.
not
This was
singular, plural.
the same, the same Proverb 31 that they used to pin us down to make us feel like we are not doing everything we're supposed to do, that our mates is doing stuff. When you read it
Auntie,
properly.
so she instructs her maids. I said, oh, that's the end.
Yes, so
My job is to have maids and instruct them. Oh my God.
Lord, I
That
can do
was a
this.
liberation. And I was like, okay.
I can do this, Lord.
I gave myself permission. Yes, the kitchen is mine. Yes, the house is mine. But nobody said I have to do it myself.
No.
My job is to make sure
There's
that
no
it gets
law.
done. Yeah. So
And there's
work
food in
with
the house
yourself.
for
Some
my
people
children.
will like, my kitchen is my is my haven. Please knock yourself out. I have a friend who distresses by cooking large pots of soup. My job is to go there and collect
Can
the
she
soup
come
when
to my
she
house?
finishes cooking it. Yeah,
Can
so
she
do
come to my
you.
house?
Yeah. So I think that's
Mm,
what runs through this entire talk today is you need to work with yourself. Don't work against yourself. So what are the
it's
things
very
that are
selfish.
stressing you out? What are the things that stress you out? Can you put a system around it? So I created that. The
Mm,
menu is just one part of the home management system. That book taught me, how do you want your house to look? Right.
mm,
What do you need to get there? So when do you need to clean? What do you need to literally put it down? Do you need to clean every
mm,
day? Be honest with yourself. Does this part needs to be cleaned? What needs to be cleaned every day? So I have a system that says
mm,
what clean every day. You clean the parlor every day, the visitor's toilet or the bathroom that adjoins to clean that every day, right? But each room now has a
mm,
deep clean each day of the week. So on Monday, a deep clean is in this part of the house. Tuesday, a deep clean in this part of the house.
mm,
Wednesday, deep clean. So even the people that work with me, nobody's
mm.
overburdened, right?
They're not
This is what we need.
stressed.
No,
Because when you see people washing toilets, the whole house every day, you're thinking, when will they sleep? When will they rest? When will they breathe? This is why they use pepper body to
again,
beat your children when you're not at home. You to
so I don't believe it is, and I don't like it. So I have to figure out something that I think is okay. So that book taught me create your home system such that when any new person comes, you give them the system to work with, and that's what I've done.
mm,
So in fact,
mm,
the last 2 or 3 people that have come to work in house as house helps is my older girls that even we have onboarding. The older girls
mm,
who onboard the help. I've stopped doing it for maybe like 6 or 7 years. I don't do it anymore. Before I used to
mm,
onboard, this is how we do it. To the point of this is how we boil meat here in our house. Don't
mm.
bring your own at home. In our house, this is how we boil meat.
Honestly,
In our
you
house, this
have
is
to.
our napkins. This is where we keep them. Right. This is the one we
Mm,
use for bathroom. This is the one we use for the kitchen. This is the one we use for cleaning hands. These are daddy's plates. So literally, we do
mm,
onboarding, and we have a system, a written down system on how we do the onboarding.
of what the
We have
person
a
needs to know.
system.
I
This is
mean,
what the person needs
and,
to
and,
know.
and these things you're saying may sound very far-fetched, but it's part of the experience that you got from work, working in an
In an
organization.
organization,
Mostly that's what is done. When you have a new staff, you onboard. And how do you onboard? You have SOPs, you have systems that you're going to share with them so that everybody, soldier comes, soldier go, the work continues and the output is the
the
same.
house to
And
remain.
so it is just common sense to bring that knowledge to the house. And I know that many women probably think that this is you overdoing, but like you've
Overdoing.
explained, it has simplified your life, right? Because some people actually freak out when they have to let a maid go because they're thinking, oh my God, I had to
Who
start
is
training
going
another
to?
one again. And they now manage a bad maid. They manage someone that they're not
Mm-hmm.
happy with because I don't want to retrain. But when you can take the time, do the work
Yeah.
once,
You do
put
the
it
work once.
down, do the work once, put it down, create this SOPs, create the system, and just hand it over as they
Yeah,
come. I mean, if
as they come.
if there's nothing else you learn from today's live, this is something that you
Create a
learn. This is something
system
that
for
teaches
your
you
home.
how to
Yeah,
reclaim your time. Because literally, the time you spend in onboarding each new person, the time you spend in teaching somebody,
yeah.
the next 3 months you will not have settled. She would have forgotten. She doesn't know how you do what.
Mm.
I had a maid once that will come and cook meat. The meat will be so strong. I'm like, Auntie, what? She said, meat cannot be too soft. So this is how you know it is meat. I said, I don't understand. This is not how we eat meat in our house. Please cook it down. Like, hello.
Honestly,
Let your knife
so
let table knife
even
be able
the
to
food
cut it.
tastes the same regardless of who's cooking it. That's how deep we go.
You see?
This is the quantity of tomato we use. This is the quantity of this
Do you
one that
understand?
we use.
I love it.
This is how we
I
do
love
it
it.
here. So don't wherever you're coming from, drop it
Hang
at the
it.
door. This is how it's done here.
Mm.
This so don't yeah. So for me, it has
I, I,
worked. I tell people
I
my
would do
house is
that.
like a
I would do that
machine.
food. I'll do that food owner because my last house help was very bad at cooking. Like I'd never seen it that bad before. She was so bad. I kept on thinking she'll get better, she'll get better. I kept on teaching her, and she was proud. So I would say this is how to make our stew, and she goes like, "No, I know what I'm doing. I know what to." And she'll make it and it will not be tasty. I now thought maybe is it me that is not, maybe I was sick, maybe I was having this. My daughter will return her food every day from school. And that one has
Oh, oh,
stomach issues. So for her to be returning food, I was like,
mm,
what was going on? She said, Mommy, food is tasteless. I said,
oh.
I say, Auntie, come and be going because at this point, you are not
If
helping
you
me.
will not,
Do
in
you
fact,
see?
that's even a sign. A person that refuses to work with the system means that you can't stay
Free
here.
to learn.
There's no the talk is not
Yeah. So I was like, you
too
have to
much.
go. you have to just go.
Yeah.
And it was easy to determine that she had to go because it was someone that could learn, she would have learned based on this is how we do
Yeah.
it, and you learn. But when you don't want to learn, then it's okay, thank you, exit the system and let's look for someone else. So
Exit stage right.
I like this idea of systems. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask, so for women that somebody may say, oh, madam, you're just saying this, Coach Orifie, you're saying this maybe because you can afford to pay for somebody to work with you. What of that woman who is just young in marriage? Maybe she's not working, maybe she stay at home and her husband is the only one working and she cannot afford help. What other ways do you think she can, create systems that can help to reclaim her time? Because now the system we've just talked about is, somebody else doing this. What about can't afford somebody? Can you think of any ideas that somebody can share? Maybe when you were a young new wife, maybe, I don't know. Is there anything else that somebody can do if they do not have the luxury of having external staff that they pay? What other type of systems can they create to help them reclaim back some of their time? Okay, I think we lost our guest for a minute. I'll just wait for her to come back in. So while we're waiting for her, I think that, part of what we were saying is that people, who sometimes may struggle with a number of things. Maybe you are not able to hire a staff, right? But there are systems that you can use. And this is even for stay-at-home moms. So many times, stay-at-home moms, what is their struggle? They may say, oh, I just have to do work day in, day out, and I just find that I'm working all around the clock. The system that she just shared with us can work for you too. How? So if you sit down and create a timetable for the work that needs to be done, you don't have to outsource it to somebody. You can do it yourself. But if you have a system that lets you know that on Monday I will wash this part of the house, on Tuesday I wash that part of the house, on Wednesday I wash that part of the house, you find that you are not spending all day cleaning around the clock or cooking around the clock. You can create systems that allow you to cook bulk at the end of the week or at the end of the month. Whatever it is that you can do to free up some of your time, batch your tasks together and make if whatever you can outsource, outsource, whatever you can delegate, delegate. Even if it's to your children, you can delegate. Use your children if you cannot afford to hire help. Delegate some part of the work so that you yourself can free up yourself to do the work that the Lord has called you for. Because hello, you did not come to the earth to cook and clean and wash and change diapers. That's not what God created you for. You came with a purpose. You, women, have a purpose as well. And you know how International Women's Day, our theme this year is accelerate action. This is the time to accelerate our action on all the things that we need to move ourselves forward. So this is when you're going to sit down and look at your life and say, what am I doing? Am I wasting away my time? Or can I be wiser about the way I use my time? So today, what the trust of all our conversation has been create a system, create a structure that would help you use your time wisely. One of the things that I always talk about when we're talking about time and using it well is energy management. So sometimes people think that, oh, it's just about you know, batching my task or whatever. There's also the point of energy management. When you wake up in the morning, if your energy is highest in the morning, then do the things that require you to do them with your most energy. The things that are most important, do them while your energy is high. There are things that you do without thinking. For example, folding laundry is the kind of task that you can do in addition to other things. Like you can be folding laundry while talking to your sister on the phone. You can be folding laundry while, doing an assignment with a child. You can be folding laundry while doing a ton of other things. It doesn't require brain matter to fold laundry. So batch that kind of task along with something else. Do you see? These are the kind of things that you need to do because that is the way to manage your energy and manage your time. So when things that require your full presence, do them. Maybe you have little children and they go to school. So when they've gone to school, sit and do your most important work. Do you see? So that's not when you should be cleaning the house. That's not the time to be cooking food. Do your most important work when your children are away from the house. And once you're done with that, you can start to cook or clean or whatever else you have to do. And by the time you pick your children, you can now leave the work simple task like folding laundry again and or loading the dishwasher or loading the laundry machine, washing machine for when you have children sitting with you because you have to watch your children at that time. You can be having conversations with them while also folding the laundry. Okay, she's back. Welcome back.
Ah, apologies. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Okay,
Okay.
there you are. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yes. So where
So,
was I?
just before we threw you out. Go just for zoom through you. I'm not. I didn't do
Yeah.
that. I was asking that what about if I'm a young woman,
Mm,
I'm just starting out in my marriage. I can't really afford to, hire staff. Or
mm,
maybe I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't know.
mm,
How would you suggest that I help myself to reclaim some of my time? Because I feel
mm,
overwhelmed right now. I feel like
yeah.
there's children, there's toddlers running around my leg every minute I look, either I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm picking up toys, I'm doing one thing or the other. How
Yeah.
can I gain some of
Mm,
my time back?
absolutely. Yeah. So interestingly, that book I read, and I'm just praying God will help me to know what that book was because it saved my life.
You have to remember the name of the book because this is not even for
This like 16
you should,
years.
you should be able to tell us now so we can help our own selves,
Honestly, so I thought, okay, maybe I should just do the same thing, replicate it. Since I honestly cannot remember. Yeah.
right?
So that lady that wrote that book, it was actually a stay-at-home mom who
Okay.
was from this position of being overwhelmed with, and a stay-at-home mom, not necessarily in Nigeria. Can't even remember whether I was in
Mm,
Nigeria or not, right? Who was overwhelmed with all the work. So those, ideas that she gave about be intentional about a deep clean in one space per day. Don't
mm,
stretch yourself, force yourself to do everything in one day. That's what happens.
mm,
What systems do you have with your children, even no matter how young they are, to keep space clean? Do you,
mm.
cordon off a space for them to play and only in that space? Do you
So
give
that when
them
they are
three
done, they
toys
can tidy
so
up
that
that
when they're
space. Mm.
or even if they can't tidy up, you have a limited space to
That
tidy up
you
as opposed to everywhere,
space.
you know. So do
Mm,
you apart from giving them a, do you bring out maybe three toys instead of all? Because children don't even need that
mm,
much, honestly. If you give them a carton, they will play. You know, do you limit the amount of
mm.
toys that they have so that what you have to clean up is not so much? So
That is
is
so
that there's
brilliant.
thinking
It's even
involved.
like I do that when I don't have help. Like even I bring out a certain number of plates. If we have only
Honestly,
these four plates, we'll finish eating, we'll wash it immediately, we'll use it next time. Unlike when the plates are
but
plenty, they will use,
let
and
me
the sink will
let
now
me
be
even
full
be let me even be bad guy. God help me. When I don't have help, I'm sorry, we're using disposable plates because my
because
life is not around. I can't. I actually don't mind washing plates, but the fact that it has to now be when my children were young, I say no. When we don't have anyone to do that, we're going to use disposals. Some of them we throw it away because and then move on with our lives. That's why I say that's bad gang, but hey, it works for me.
yeah,
Right. So what will work? You have to sit down and think. That's the work. Sit
mm,
down and think. What
is
will
the
work for
work.
me? What is stressing me out about this activity? Pinpoint what is stressing you
Mm,
out and create something
mm,
that would ameliorate your own situation for yourself. What are the resources that you have?
absolutely.
Right? Do you have your sister down the road that can come and help? Can you employ someone to work for
Mm,
2 hours a day? What resources are
mm,
at your disposal? Can your mom come and look after the kids while you do something? What do you have? So, what's
mm.
the pain point?
I
What
like
will
that.
relieve that pain? What resources do you have? So, this is thinking, like you said, it's thinking like someone in an organization. That's how
It's thinking.
organizations think.
It's thinking. It's
Right?
thinking. Absolutely.
The
You
work
have to
is
do
the
the thinking.
thinking. The work is the thinking. And a
And
lot of
it's
people
work that
run
is
away
done
from that.
once.
Yes. If you do it
Mm,
once, and then you can tweak it. Oh, this is not quite working. What would this,
mm,
let's do something different. This is not quite working. Let's do something different.
yeah,
But it's your system. And no two systems are the same because no two homes are the same. No two women are the same. So you create your own system. What works
absolutely.
for me? Right. And then again, we'll go
I,
back to
I,
the
I
first
like
part of
that you say
times and
this.
seasons. Times and seasons. My son,
Mm,
I have only
mm,
one child in primary school now. Guess how much housework I do?
mm.
Just guess. Zero.
None.
I do none.
None.
I have a
There's
household
no
of people
need.
that can take care of the. There's no need. There was the time I was bathing people. It was part of
Absolutely.
my daily schedule. It was in my calendar. You
I
know, I told you me
know.
I'm a
I
planner.
know.
Yeah. Bathing people was in my calendar. Bible study back in the day was in my calendar. Spend time with children in my calendar. It's not there
I
anymore.
know.
Yeah. So what is
Because
your what
your
season are you
goal.
in? What season are you in?
Mm,
And maybe I
mm,
want to link this also to the purpose conversation. So there's some times, and I know women may not want to accept. There's some times that you need to slow down. When your kids are
mm-hmm.
young, you're going to need to slow down.
Please.
There's no two
Yes.
ways about it. If you want to be able to raise them at least to some extent well. You want to be able to pay attention to them. That you might need to
Yes,
slow down. Again, it's up
you have
each
to.
person is up to you. You need, that's what I feel. Might you have to slow down even on your ambitions, slow down on your career, even slow down on purpose? Sometimes.
Yeah.
I believe everyone has their own instructions, but sometimes you might have to. Again, times and seasons. That season will pass,
It will
right?
pass. The
My
children
kids,
will grow.
like I said, we have the money for the house. That season will pass. This time will pass. Every season is going to pass. There's none that is permanent. Now they go
Absolutely.
into the kitchen. Nobody asks me what to eat. The menu is there. If you don't want it, you can't make something for yourself. What will not happen is that I went to the kitchen and make food for you. That's what will not happen. Yeah. The menu is there,
Because
the
like you
ingredients
said,
are there. If
it's
you
not a
want outside
restaurant.
of that, knock yourself out. And for me, it's actually, when they go to a certain stage, like in secondary, we stopped making dinner in the house. Why? Because I wanted them to learn how to cook. So each person makes something either for themselves or for everybody. So the only person you cook for maybe is the daddy of the house, make his meal. But everyone else,
Yes.
get in the kitchen. I have one that we eat bread every day. What do you want? I want bread.
Because that one doesn't want to cook.
Cook. And I will tell him that I'm not asking you to be a master chef. I'm asking you to get the skills, life skills, that wherever you are in the world, you can eat.
That's
You don't
it.
have to look for people to
And
make food for you. That's it.
honestly, I have a daughter that doesn't want to cook. Like she doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to even hear. If whenever there's no help in the house and I say, okay, everybody comes to the kitchen, she's like, I'll wash plates. Before we talk, she's like, I wash plates. I used to mom, that's very nice of you. I now realized that this girl was dodging cooking. So when everybody else, okay, you go and cook, she say, but I washed all the plates, mommy. Even pots, everything, I've done my own. I mean, I'll not let her cook. When I realized that this girl was
That's my
dodging cooking, I say,
sister.
no, you cannot. I say, you cannot do this. You have to join us. She say, but I can cook. I say, show me.
It's just
Show
life
me
skills.
that you can cook. Do you
Do you know what
understand? So
I showed
sometimes
them?
you have to.
Yeah. I actually gave them a list of things you need to cook. So you make a bar. Soup, don't even bother with soup. You make okra, you make stew. Anywhere you go in the world, you can eat.
At least
You
you
cook
can eat
rice,
that.
you cook
You'll be fine.
beans, you fry plantain, you fry egg. I'm okay.
Fry,
My
cook yam.
point
Yeah,
is that
okay.
you can feed you. That's all. I'm not
You
asking you
can
to
survive.
be so you can
You don't have
survive
to be chef.
without
And
needing
the truth of the matter
anybody
is that
else.
the
That's
season in
all.
which they are, you can make anything you want on YouTube.
I'm telling
Do you
you.
see?
Honestly,
So we are fine. Just understand how to work your way through the kitchen.
that's
Understand how to
it.
make the basics. And any day you feel like doing gourmet cook, go
Gourmet,
to
knock
YouTube
yourself out.
and knock yourself out. Do you see?
Yeah.
But
So that's what I teach them.
to say that you cannot cook the
Yeah,
normal things,
it's
that's
about
not
life
okay.
skills. I didn't ask you to go and
Mhm.
cook a ekpan koko. I didn't ask you to go
It's not.
there. If you
It's,
choose to,
see,
knock yourself out.
if you marry the man that
Boil
wants
rice,
to
cook
cook it,
beans.
two of you will be learning it in your husband's house. Don't stress me.
No, this is even my boys, though. It's not even the girls. This is actually my boys. Yeah,
If
you need to be able to cook. I don't want you to be looking for girls to cook
yes.
stew for you.
Oh, no, no, no. Very, if, in fact, if
Yeah,
my boys, I'm stricter about for
very
cooking.
particular.
And
Yeah.
then my husband says to me, why are you stressing them? I said, because one girl must not shakara my son on top of food.
Mhm.
You see those girls, they will cook. You know why? Because life will make you cook. Do you
Yeah,
see?
yeah.
As a woman, you cannot escape
You
it.
will find
So
it.
once I know that you know
You
how
will
to
find
cook,
it.
if you run away from kitchen, it's okay. When you marry your husband, you will cook. Nobody will help you. But you see those boys, I don't want them to get to university and ask that one girl now because of food now enter
Looking
into
for,
them and now
yeah,
give them to where we do not send them.
need to make that. Yeah.
So,
So,
so please
yeah.
cook, learn your
So
skills.
create your
I
system.
really love
Yeah.
that.
Create your
I
system.
really love that.
I can't
So basically,
overemphasize that. The freedom that it
okay.
has
So
given
basically,
me.
you're saying that
And that, yeah. So the freedom it
go on.
gives you, for me, it then links back to purpose. So the time that I'm
Mm,
able to save in doing all that, then I can
I
educate
can now work
myself.
on my purpose.
I can now work on myself. I can now deliver the
Mm,
things I need to deliver to them. I can sit down and do life with you because I'm not. There's a machinery working in my house to make sure that everything gets done. Yeah. So
right.
reclaim your time, reclaim your purpose, create your systems that work for you. I wish I could
Mm,
say do this, do that, but everybody's house is different. The best I can do is, maybe give the framework or the parameters under which to do it. But you have to do that work for yourself. Yeah.
mm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I really like where this conversation has gone to. To be honest, when I put the topic out there, I didn't really know what to think. I just like, okay, reclaim your time. And I was thinking, okay, busy women, what are we going to do? How do we get
Mm.
our time back? Because sometimes it just feels like 24 hours is not enough.
No, no, yeah.
Right. And I hear this every time. It's like if I had $1 for every time somebody told me, oh, how can
You
you
don't have
get through? I
time.
mean, I just the days are not enough for me. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And I say to people that for something that you love, you will make time. Do
Hmm.
you see? So when people tell you they don't have time, it just mean that what you're saying is not really important.
You
Because
haven't
for someone that loves
created a
parties,
system to work for you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, someone that loves party will make time for party. Even if her house is scattered, she will go to the party. Do you see? Someone that
Can I
loves to,
even add something to that? Sorry, before
yeah,
can I add something to that? So I think it was
yeah.
Oprah that I heard say this, that the more you say something, you're actually creating it. So every time you say I'm tired,
Mm,
I'm tired, I'm tired, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have you're never going to have that time. So even the words that
mm.
come out of your mouth have to align with what you
Are
actually
important.
want.
Are
Yeah. My
important.
house is organized. I
Absolutely.
have time for the things that are important to me. You have to
Mm.
declare it.
You have to
Yeah.
realize it too. Mm. Because that's when we're small, they will say an angel is passing, they will hear
Mm.
you. That's how my mom
Yeah.
used to threaten us, say, angel is passing, we hear what you're saying, so better be careful what
Carry
you
it.
say. So that Angel doesn't go and say that I'm not this Angel doesn't go and take it. That's how we quickly learn to, arrange our words. And so I agree with you. We should start. So basically for a woman who feels overwhelmed, I'm speaking to you right now. If you feel overwhelmed, you feel like okay, you don't have enough time, you feel like everything is just pushing in on you. The first thing you need to do to start to repeat after me. I have enough time for everything that I want to do. Just first of all, say it. As you say it, your brain starts to believe it. As it starts to believe it, it starts to find ways to do it, right? So when
Give you
you tell
ideas.
yourself you have enough time, you sit down, you find the ideas, you sit down, do the system we talked about today. We gave you examples, right? Do a system for your meals, do a system for your housework, do a system for your market list and your market buying and all of those things. I can't remember last time I went to the market. Iyaruka has been going to market for me for 6 years. In fact, this month, Iyaruka was ill. When I called her, she told me she was not in town. I said, what are you joking? Who is going to go to the market? I don't understand. She said, okay, don't worry. That she was in her sister. And I said, okay, please do. That's her sister was not free that day. I said, please, when we should be free? But look, there's no way I'm going to my 12. It's not going to happen. I have such a large household. I cannot buy things in the
Mm.
nearby market. I need to go fast to make my income work for me. So she arranged her sister and they went to the market and she came back and I was complaining. This one has gone to market for 6 years. Orifie, 6 years. Not once. I don't even check it. When she brings the
Mm.
things back, it's just to put in
Just
the
pack
fridge,
it.
put them away, because it is excellent every time. So this time I was asking my girl, I said, where is granola oil? She said, she bought one. It's two I sent her now. Is the woman drunk? Okay. Where is crayfish? Said she brought her one small. I said, how can this be one pint of crayfish? She said, they ground it. I said, who grinds crayfish in the markets? Like, what is wrong with that? I was complaining, and I realized that, Brenda, calm down. Somebody actually helped you to go to this market. Like, you couldn't do it to save your life. So now I have to breathe. As in, by the time I called the Yaruka to break, she was like, she sent me text every day for the last 3 days. Madam, please don't be angry. Please don't be
Yeah.
angry. And I had to
Oh.
verify her that, Yaruka, I'm no longer annoyed. That is okay. I just realized because I had to talk to myself that calm down. You couldn't go to this
Yeah.
market. Someone's
Yeah.
helping you here. You know. So I just say this to say, that you can delegate what you can delegate.
Mm.
Create your system around because Yaruka knows everything I want. My market list is the same every month. It's the same every month. The only thing that changes are the prices. It's the
That's it.
prices. So when I send it to her, she just tells me, Aurora is no
This
longer
one is like this.
18,000, it's now
So.
20. Okay, no
Mm.
problem. Go on. Juicy. So because the list is the same. It's the same, copy and paste. Send to her every month and we just keep going. So
Yeah.
when you simplify things that way, you save yourself the
Mm.
thinking time.
Mm.
People say it's mental overload. My children, there's a timetable for how they work. My son plays football on Tuesday. So there's a timetable above
Mm.
their
Mm.
dressing room to show the housemaid that what he's packing to school today is
Is this?
sportswear on Tuesday, on Wednesday. So you can see it in the timetable on in the evening before you write, pack this also for this child, pack also for this child, for this day, for this day, this is the day for music, pack this for him, this is the day for football, pack that
Mm.
for him. So that even he himself is able to tell you because he's done it so many times, he's able to say, oh, today is Tuesday, I'm supposed to go with my sportswear. And because he can see it on the board and he can follow through. So
Mm.
these systems help you to
Absolutely.
remove the mental overload, which is the thing that women worry
Mm.
about the most. Oh, what to cook, oh, what to wear, oh, what to pack, oh, what to give the children.
Well,
Hello,
we
how
taking
about
this.
you
Well, I
just
didn't take it.
plan it once?
Mm.
Just plan it once. Even up to their chores,
Take
even up
it.
to their
Absolutely.
activities.
And
Plan their
as they grow,
activities.
Yeah,
They can take it from there.
absolutely.
Plan the activities for them.
100%.
When you come back from school, this is what you do first, what you do next, what you do next. So they don't come and ask you, Mommy, I'm bored. Hello,
What's
that's
my
timetable.
bedtime?
What should you be doing now? What should you be doing now? Do you see? So they also know it helps the whole house to run smoothly. It helps you to free yourself of stress and it helps you to find time to now do things that God has proposed for you to do. So
Absolutely.
I don't want anyone telling me I don't
Mm.
have time again. If you say you don't have time, you are not my friend. Please, you must have time.
That means you have not created your system. I think the last thing we haven't talked about is your self-care. Part of all of this time, you need to
Right.
take time for yourself. I think that's another thing
Mm,
that I think is just gaining popularity in this generation. What time are you taking for
mm,
yourself? How do you, in fact, even knowing how do you re-energize? How do you recharge? Because everybody doesn't have the same thing. For me, I need to
yeah.
be alone. I need to be quiet. I need to be myself. Some people need to
To go
jive, go
out.
and vibe, to go out.
Mm,
Right. So to their own self be true. How do you
true.
reconnect with self? Right. You need to actually put that into your schedule as well. Schedule your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Schedule your time. My
Schedule
people
your
know
rest time.
I'm alone. I'm very good at being by myself. And I have to tell them
Mm.
sometimes, guys, I need to be alone. I need to be myself now because I just know that I've
My son will
expended
say,
too much. I
Mommy,
need to stay alone.
is it your me time now? Like, yes, yes. Thank you. Say, okay, you just
I
close the door.
literally live in my
You
room.
know,
I
they
literally
just
live.
know when they knock the door, bop, bop,
Yeah.
bop. Mommy, I said that. So in fact, that's the time I used to, once I put my eye patch over my head, they just walk in and say, oh, okay, they just walk back out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mommy she doesn't want to see us right
Having a
now.
room.
And everybody understands. Even when I'm having my lights and all of those things, I do it in my bedroom. So they come in, they see me, and they say, okay, just step out. And they come back. They
Most of
understand
them
the
step
me
out. There's
time.
there's one that refuse to step out. You will not refuse.
That used to go.
Mm.
My son used to do that thing.
Yeah.
He'll come, hey, what's that hangy, hangy, hangy? He will not put his
I'll
head
be
inside.
quiet. I'll be quiet.
Then he will not one day when I allowed him stay, he now put his head inside. So be happy will say, oh, how cute. He will now become his bring the head mode. So this they said it's cute. I say, you are not cute, come on, get out. For years. It is
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
so
the main things we learn
your life is
today,
yours. Yeah, your life
your
is
life is
yours.
yours. To thyself be true. Create a system that works for you. Gain back the time you need to work on the purpose because God will ask you. God will ask you. Gain back the time. Schedule your life. Schedule your time. Schedule everything. Even schedule rest into your time. Schedule. Everything that you need. Schedule your children. Schedule their work. Schedule your nannies. Schedule yourself. Schedule everything
Mm.
that you need to schedule because you need to reclaim time. Because you know how they say what you don't track,
Yeah,
you cannot improve. If you don't track the way you spend your time, it's the same way that we talk about budgeting. We complain about, oh, there's no
yeah,
money, you budget so you can. Scheduling is budgeting your time. And once you
absolutely.
can track your time, you can multiply
And
it.
even
You can
see,
use, yes, you can see it and you can
do
do
right
more.
thing with it.
Because at the end of the day, that's the one resource that you cannot get back once it's spent. You spend money, you can get it back. But if you spend your life, that's it. That 24 hours is gone, never to be back. So, ladies, I hope we've been able to convince and not confuse you that,
It's a good
that
idea.
you can reclaim your life by actually doing something about it. And you know what? If you think it's too big, this we're saying is too plenty, let's go and get a coach. See this, my beautiful friend. She's a coach. She can help you. Sign up and she will sit down with you and work out the schedule that can work for you, that can help you to
Absolutely.
be using your own time and your own priorities and your own personality and your own,
Your
peculiarities to create for you
circumstances.
something. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it now, you suffer burnout, you suffer everything, and then you wake up at 65 and say, where did all the time
My
go?
life.
Or you will see people that are being celebrated, people that are doing impact, and you wonder, where do they find the time to do all of these things? Because you have it in you, but you just haven't, created the
Mm,
system that allows you to. So
absolutely.
if you learn nothing else from
Preach.
today, learn it. And this is why you have to do this. It is important for you because you will go back to God and answer and explain why you hid that talent He gave you instead of
Mm-hmm.
multiplying it. You can't tell him there was no time because he was like, are you joking? He will show you all the people, all the DDKs of this world, the Wendiologis that are creating impact. And say, you say, like
That's
she had the same 24 hours. Why is she doing all of these things and you cannot? What's your story? What's your excuse? You have none.
the story you're telling yourself. Hmm.
No
Absolutely.
excuse.
You're correct.
No
Yeah.
excuse. So I would like if anybody has any questions, I mean, I see some charts in the schedule and some charts in the YouTube, and they're just reiterating what we're saying. Like they're like, yes, when your kids are young, you need to slow down. That season will pass. Someone says, schedule your time, schedule your resting. As a mom, my favorite time is when the kids are sleeping. I love the quietness and I love to process. This improves my mental health. Good for you, Olabisi.
Do
Absolute.
what you need to
You
do.
know,
Can I say something there? Can I just add
yeah.
something there? So when my kids were younger, the older ones in any case, when they were younger, I had a very strict timetable of bedtime is 8 o'clock. So they
Mm-hmm,
started eating
mm-hmm.
dinner from like 5.
Yes, yes.
So,
So,
so I learned that from Super Nanny on TV. Create a schedule for your
mm-hmm,
kids. So after school, they used to come home for lunch because where we lived was a an estate. They would come home from school for
mm,
lunch and then go back. So during lunch, I'll tell them bring we'll do homework during lunch. Meet I'll come back from
mm,
work. We'll all sit down together. We'll do lunch. We'll do homework. They go back to school. I go back to
mm,
school. So when they come back from school in the afternoon, it's playtime. Go and play. Right. So play till like
mm,
4, 5. Come back. Have a bath. Eat dinner. Then we start winding down. Winding down.
mm,
8 o'clock, the
mm.
house is quiet. Why? Because
Absolutely.
I needed my
Absolutely.
me time. Like, so
Mm-hmm,
create again. It's part of this. Get the help you need. If it's knowledge you need, get it. If it's physical
mm,
resources you need, get it. To do whatever works for you. My house 8 o'clock. People will come to my house. Everyone are asleep. I say yes. So we have trained them. We train as
mm-hmm.
in. But that time, if it's 8:05, wherever they are, they'll pass out because
Yes, I mean I
they were
learned it
trained.
from my
Yeah.
sister-in-law. I went to my sister-in-law's house in the UK, and by 7, her children have gone upstairs. I said, 7 o'clock, what happened? She said, listen, me and my husband need our own
Yeah.
time. And I found it very refreshing. So of course, me, I can't do 7 in Nigeria because before you come home, before you everything, so we did 8. And I found out that once they go to bed by that 8, I could now spend the next one
Yeah.
hour working on my self-development. I could spend the next hour so I was doing 1 hour a day on either reading a book or watching a YouTube video or doing some course to improve my life. I did that 1 hour a day for 1 year straight, and I could not recognize myself just
Mm.
because the children were earlier. So, I mean, there are things that you will not believe it. These little
Little
changes
things. Little
are
things.
they create
Yeah.
magnificent changes in your life. So just today, take the time to schedule yourself. They will resist. So you see that first few weeks, they will resist. But you have to be consistent. You have to be determined and think of the big picture. Why? Why are you doing this? Because you want to get your life back. Claim your
Mm.
time. Remember this
But
life where you
time,
saw
time
Coach
waits for no man.
that you are doing this to reclaim your time. So as the children are fighting, you are telling them, "Oh, you'll be okay. Go to bed because I
Go and
said so."
sleep.
Oh yeah, go
Go and
and
sleep.
sleep. Mates are sleeping, and then you
And the people that
remember
say, I
them
don't want
that you
to sleep,
can
I
do.
say, why? Do you have work? You have something you want to do? Are you going for party? Why will you
I
not
don't
sleep?
understand. Honestly, I mean,
You
right
have a
now, the
job.
ones that are in secondary school are staying up later because they want to study, they want to do homework and everything, but that's fine. They're on their own. They have their own
Yeah.
alarm clock that wakes them in the morning. So I don't even care. You see those small ones, you will go and sleep, sir. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. Because once you are asleep, I can be free. So just reclaim your time, ladies. Reclaim your time, reclaim your life. We've gone far into this conversation. I can see that we've done a good job about it because there are no questions in the chat. I just wanted to inform you guys that this is Women's Matters brought to you live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Today we started 7:30 for some logistic issues, but we're live on 7 p.m. every Tuesday. And it's brought to you by Women's Growth Academy. It's a community of women who love God and who are working together to draw each other up in the finding of our purpose in life, to just do better and be better. And my guest today has been Orifie Uyo, who is she called it something. There's something called that you're coaching.
A potentialist.
Poten- the thing suits me. She's a potentialist coach. You see, so she helps you to find your highest potential. You cannot just sit down and be living ordinary. You have to come and know what God has created
Why
you to
the
be, to be
ordinary?
the
Yeah.
highest version of yourself.
Version
You
of
can't
yourself.
sit still where you are. You have to daily improve yourself. So Orifie, what last words will you leave our women with before we sign off? If you want them to forget everything else we said today, if they
Yeah.
go away with
Mm.
only one thing, what would be your last words for them?
So the name of my coaching practice is called the Star Life Center, right? And the reason for that is simple. The star of your life is you. So women,
Mm,
we've been taught to pander or spend for everybody else apart from ourselves.
but
But the actual star of your life is you. Each one of us, at the end of the day, right? Your life is for a purpose,
mm,
is for a reason, and it's your responsibility, like I said earlier, to make the best of it.
mm,
Right? However you
mm,
choose to spend your life is entirely up to you. You know, the Bible says, "I said before your life and death, choose life. It's your choice.
mm,
Nobody's going to force you to do anything. You get to
mm.
decide. So at the end of your life, you get the report card of how you've spent all the time before, and it goes in every area of your life. You'll get the report card. You know,
Absolutely.
there's something my coach says. She said that the the day in your life will come where you will you will meet somebody, right? You will meet
Mm,
yourself in somebody else. So somebody who had the same
mm,
situation as you, but has done what, the best they could do with it. And that will either be the
mm.
best day of your life or the worst day of your life. You get
Like
to
you
choose.
can be sad.
Ah,
You can be
you
so
don't do it.
depressed after that.
So think about it that way. You're going to meet somebody who even had probably even worse circumstances than you, but they've done so much
Mm,
with it. Right? Somebody
mm.
doing something. You know when you say, I can do this thing now. Why are you not doing it if you can do it? Yeah. So you're going to meet
Yes.
that person. And it's either going to be
Mm,
the best day of your life. You'll be like, I'm so glad that I put in the
that I'm
effort
doing
to
this.
choose me.
Mm.
Right? Or you're going to put your hand on your head. Kai, see my life.
That's it. In my life,
You
you
get
see my mates.
you get to choose. Yeah.
Mm,
So I'll leave it there.
mm. Powerful words, powerful words, powerful words. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for, even the funny stories in between. Thank you so much. I mean, we do not take your time for granted. This, my friend, is a big babe, big girl. Oh, Abuja big girl. So just please, just thank her so much for coming. And how can we reach you? How can we reach out to you on Instagram or where? How do we reach you?
Right. So mainly on Instagram. It's at the Star Life Center. That's a
The
good thing
Star
to
Life
actually
Center.
or my name at I am Orifie, but I think the Star Life Center is easier. Most people misspell
Okay.
my name, so at the Star Life Center on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can
Right.
follow it. Thank
Thank
you. And
you.
thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Great
Thank you. I
conversation.
really enjoyed today's conversation. Absolutely. And so I'm glad we have it on YouTube. So for those that are catching the replay, I hope you learned something. And let us know in the chats what you learned. And so thank you for coming out tonight. See you same time next week,
My pleasure.
Tuesday. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, all.